Following is just a test. Oh. Hello there. This is John Richard Klein, or Ricky Klein, the Cassette Master. And, anyway, in this video, I will be showing mechanical pencils. Now, this video will be my mechanical pencils number 4. Here it is. On number 3, which only had a part 1, even though I said part 1 of 2 or something like that. I never uploaded part 2, which was just a little few minutes left, because back then I had the 15-minute time limit, and I was too lazy to get around to uploading part 2. I decided instead of someone wanted me to upload part 2, but I decided instead of uploading part 2, I decided I was just going to make a whole new mechanical pencil video number 4, because, well, since that last video was made last year or a year ago, I've acquired several more pencils. So, I mean, it's about time I show an updated video anyway of my mechanical pencil collection, instead of just tacking on a outdated video. So, this will be my mechanical pencils number 4. There's no telling how long it's going to be. But chances are it will be pretty long. Now, probably many of you aren't even interested in seeing videos of people's mechanical pencils collections, but for any people that are, here you go. Hope you enjoy it. Please comment and all that kind of stuff. Side note, the video format recording this video is Betamax. Yes, Betamax tape. I'm using a Sony SL5000 to record this video at beta 2 speed. Okay, you may have noticed the first part of the video, my face looks stretched out. Now it looks normal. The reason why is because at first I had the camera set to 4:3 mode, but then I decided to make this video widescreen, so I set the camera to widescreen now. So I hope you enjoyed this video in widescreen. 16:9. Okay, so you'll see these 2 boxes here. These are the majority of my pencils. This particular box, not the contents inside, just the box itself, I had since 1997 in kindergarten, and this one I had since. This particular box I've been using since last year. And in the next segment I'll be having my pencils laid out, and they will be organized by brand name. I got that idea from another video. I don't know what the guy's name is, but he made some videos showing Pentels and things like that, so I give him credit for it. Oops, not yet. I had it on for so long it automatically unpaused. Oh, not yet. Here you will see quite a display of pencils. Quite a few. I counted 112 units, and if you want to count this type of pencil where you take the lead out of the top and stick it in the bottom as a mechanical pencil, 113. I still have a few other cheap mechanical pencils, also pens and wooden pencils, inside, down in this desk here, like you can see a Papermate Sharp Writer, readily viewable. Okay, if you start over here, you'll see there's erasers, and there's this kind of pencil made out of very brittle plastic. This is from this year, actually, this pencil. You'll see the eraser is blue and has a hole in it. You take the tip off and the cap off, and you see it has a pencil lead affixed to this sleeve. You take out one of the leads, if it's dull, stick it into the bottom, and out comes another lead ready to write. The material used, the plastic used to make this pencil is extremely brittle, and this already has some cracks in it. It's very cheaply made. It was copyright 2012 Lucasfilm. So it's a Star Wars themed pencil. It's got a picture of Yoda on there and some, I guess, clone troopers or something on there. And here you'll see an eraser unit which uses the same system. If one of your erasers gets flat or you just want a different color, you take one out, stick it into the bottom, and a new one pops up. This unit is originally from the 1990s. But here's the thing. The erasers inside this unit are from the 90s for sure. And the outside plastic casing, maybe from the early 2000s. I got the plastic casing with it has a monkey on there and a panda. It had different erasers in it that had like shapes of monkeys. And I got it in the early 2000s, like 2000, 2001, probably got it in 2001. But my brother had got an earlier unit from SeaWorld, which had dolphins on it, back in the 1990s. And I liked the erasers in the one from the 90s better than the ones with the little monkeys on it. These erasers erased very well, so I put the erasers from his unit into the monkey casing of my unit to try to get Chris to think that it was mine because it didn't have the dolphins, because I wanted it, but it was Chris's, and we would fight over it back in the day, basically. But I don't think Chris cares anymore, so it's basically mine now. Here's an eraser unit. I bought this in Mexico. The name is worn off, but it's made by Pelican. Pelican made nice mechanical pencils. I have none by Pelican, but I have seen pictures of Pelican pencils on Dave's Mechanical Pencils on the internet. So this is the only Pelican unit I got, which is this clickable eraser system. It works best if you hold it at an angle. Like in a mechanical pencil, it clicks the eraser out. I find it very useful. The downside of it is the eraser tends to like to push back in if you do it hard. So it works best if you erase at an angle and carefully. But it is very nice, and I like the design, how you can click the eraser out. Here's one of those classic Pentel click erasers. You can see the original naming is well rubbed off from use. But here you can see it's custom printed. We love our nurses. Arkansas Department of Health. I used a considerable amount of the eraser. This is what's left. So if it's like that, it's about halfway down. Or no, maybe it's not fully halfway, but it's getting there. And then here is a Pentel eraser that I've had since high school, and I'm still using to this day. And you know, this lasts a long time, because you'll see it's still got plenty of eraser left, even though I've had it since high school. I've had this one since, I think, since 2008. I had it for 4 years. Okay, and let's move on to the next set. Here's a couple of pencils made by the Rose Art Company. These are cheap. You can see it says Rose Art Great Grips 0.7 millimeter. I don't even think Rose Art's still in business. I remember whenever they were, back when I was in elementary school, a Rose Art was pretty popular. You get Rose Art crayons, Rose Art pencils, and so on, Rose Art markers. But I don't think Rose Art's around anymore, because I have not seen anything new by Rose Art since, like, a long time ago. This doesn't even have any lead in it. I never use these because they're so cheap. Okay, here you can see some Bic pencils. Many of them are basically the same pencil. Actually, pretty much all of them except for one are the same pencil. Everyone has seen your typical Bic pencils, like, you know, like this pencil right here. You know, pencil number 2, 0.7 millimeter, and a lot of times the lead pushes in on them when you're trying to use it, which is very annoying. And most of the Bic pencils like this you'll see are 0.7 millimeter lead, but they did make them in 0.5 and 0.9 as well. I'm sure many of you have seen 0.5, but I don't think 0.9 is that much seen in these Bic pencils. I've only seen 2 examples of 0.9 Bic pencils. Here's a 0.5 Bic pencil. The lead goes in easily. I don't know if I can do it. I broke it. I was trying to put it in, but anyway, it's a 0.5 one. I got one of these cap erasers on it. I don't use as much. I don't use Bic that often, but every now and then I'll use them just for fun when I'm doing homework. Normally I use better pencils. Anyway, it's a Bic 0.5 pencil. And then here's an example of a 0.9 pencil. You can see it says 0.9 on there. I apologize for my long fingernails, but indeed it is a 0.9 millimeter Bic pencil. I found this one at school, left and deserted on a desktop. Or something like that. Anyway. And here's an example of one that has a grip. Now, a lot of these Bic pencils, a lot of people just throw them away. If they run out of lead, they'll probably throw them away a lot of times. There's a lot of these, or they get lost or something. What I'm trying to say is a lot of these Bic pencils don't last much, don't last very long in the hands of their owners. So, most often, if you have these Bic pencils, you'll see recently made ones. You'll see modern ones. A lot of the ones now are made in Mexico. Although a lot of the ones before, or maybe still some now, are made in France. And I managed to find some old Bic pencils, not at school, but elsewhere, that are actually from the 1990s, probably. It's likely that this Bic pencil is from the 1990s, or maybe the early 2000s. I remember back in the second grade, I would see pencils that had this all-black barrel, or around that time I'd have pencils that had the all-black barrel, I think. But also, my brother went to elementary school in the 90s, and so I found some of his old pencils lying around one day, back a long time ago. I found them lying around, and they were black, like this, Bic pencils. And so they would have different colored clips. Now, these aren't the ones that my brother used. Those are long gone, but still, I remember they were this style. So it's leading me to believe that a lot of these black ones like this are for the 1990s. Here's another example. These ones are made in France. These black ones here. And another early one, or old one, not early. Now, a couple of others right here that are a little newer. But anyway, if you want to see a really old one, a truly early one, I would think, look at this one. This one has no clip, and no, the clip didn't break off. The clip is never there. The only cosmetic damage this one has, I don't know if something happened to the tape. The only cosmetic damage this one has is a little crack right there on each side from the eraser. The eraser is not that black or white type you see on a lot of Bic pencils. It's that standard type of eraser, pink. And this end piece here and this top part here are brown, a dark brown color. And then you got a light tan colored here. And it says, Bic pencil contains 3 leads, France. And I find it very interesting. And a lot of these old pencils I have, a lot of these earlier, these black ones and this one, the lead holds it nice and strong, and you can push down pretty hard without the lead going in, and that, I think, is great. So these Bics are actually usable. So I would imagine this is probably a relatively rare Bic, being that they were almost disposable grade, and being that this unit is possibly from the 1980s, I would imagine. Don't quote me on that, I'm just guessing. But yeah, it's pretty amazing that this pencil is around. I got this one at an estate sale, so that's probably how this managed to lie around so long. And now, here's a little bit higher on the scale for Bic pencils. The Bic Atlantis. This is the newer version. Whenever I was at the at my college where I go to, at the little bookstore and office supply store they had there, ran by Barnes and Noble, they had a selection of mechanical pencils available, and one of them was the Bic Atlantis, and I saw a lot of students using Bic Atlantises, and I wanted to try one out. So I got a 2-pack of Bic Atlantises. I had the choice of getting the older style or the newer style, because it still had some of the older style ones left, and then a bunch of new styles. But I noticed the older style had a plastic clip. This one had a metal clip, so I got the newer one with the metal clip. And it has a cap on the eraser, uses 0.5 millimeter lead. And I find it really annoying because the Bic Atlantis, on some of the Bic Atlantises, the lead does go in kind of easily. This one holds it in relatively strong, but if you push hard enough, it will go in. And I find that annoying. I would have thought a little bit higher up one like this would have been done better, but it's not that much. It is better than these Bics, but it's not extremely high end. This plastic, this part here looks like metal, but it's plastic. But still, it's a nice pencil. It's got a grip. I think it's pretty cute. I use it every now and then. This is going to be a long video. These pencils here are a couple of my several Pentec pencils. They don't say Pentec on them. These ones say number 2 pencil 0.7 millimeter. I have several other of pencils like this of various colors, including turquoise and light purple and a very, very like the highlighter color, like a very luminescent, whatever you call that, green or something. But anyway, these, I know they're Pentec because actually these 2 units here are actually from my days in the 2nd grade. I let my best friend Evan have these, I guess. But I think originally, I remember I had a set of these in the 2nd grade. I must have given some of them to Evan, my best friend, back then. Because he kept them. If I would have had them since then, they would have gotten lost or traded away. But since Evan had them, he kept them in a bag, and that bag kind of went into storage. And later on, I was hanging out with him last year or so, and I looked in this storage, and he had these pencils. I was like, wow, these are literally from the days whenever we were in the 2nd grade. So these are a couple of examples, and I remember they were made by Pentec. I think there were some that were labeled Pentec. It seems like I remembered seeing some that were labeled Pentec. I don't have any that are actually labeled Pentec, but I remember they were made by Pentec. And if it weren't for that, I would have considered them no-name brand pencils. And they're 0.7 millimeter, and they're pretty nice. I also know that they made it in the gray color. I don't have any gray color units, but I had a gray color one in the 2nd grade, which I found on the ground at recess. And I remember I, quote, fell in love with that pencil, and I remember it had squeaky lead. And that's the first time I encountered squeaky lead, and I loved squeaky lead ever since. Oh, crap. Stupid. Here, you'll see some of my mini Pentel pencils. These are just a section of the Pentel pencils. If I were to scroll and show more of my Pentel pencils, you'll see some duplicates right there. But anyway, those are my mini Pentel pencils. Got half battery life on my camera, dang it. Okay, I'll just say basically, I have to go for the maybe kind of fast, I don't know. This is the Pentel QE505. I don't think it's any longer in production, or at least it's no longer sold in stores. I ordered this unit from the Pentel website. I actually had a unit like this in the 3rd grade and liked it a lot. Didn't have it for long, so I wanted to get one of these again, so I ordered one earlier this year, during summer, actually. It's a twist erase type. It has the extendable eraser, and it has a black eraser. I think that's really cool. You don't see that every day. And the eraser erases really nicely. It uses 0.5 millimeter lead. I think it's a great pencil. Here's the regular twist erase. This is a very popular pencil. I see a lot of students at my school, a lot of classmates that use this pencil. I know of at least 3 students that use this pencil. Also, I know of at least 2 students that use a Bic Atlantis. And one of the ones that uses the Bic Atlantis also has this pencil. But anyway, it's the twist erase 0.5 QE515 from Japan. The majority of my Pentels are made in Japan, except for a couple or 3 that are made in the U.S. It's normal that Pentels are made in Japan. It's a Japanese company. So it's interesting when you find one that's made in the U.S. that's, less common. Anyway, it's a nice pencil. It's got an extendable eraser. Here is the Pentel P207. Obviously, it uses 0.7 millimeter lead. And it's a pretty nice pencil. I believe it's probably still in production. I know the P205 is. I'm sure all the P series is probably still in production. P is in the P20 series. Okay, here is one that's I don't think any longer in production, but I got lucky and found a set of 3 of these new in the package at an estate sale. The other 2 are in my desk drawer in the package. It's the Pentel PD15 made in Japan. And it's a click on the side, and it's a very nice pencil. The only complaints I have about it is sometimes whenever I'm writing and I'm having it at a certain angle or pushing down too hard, I'll hear a snap sound as the lead breaks on the inside, and then I have to click out the lead, and the old small piece of lead falls out as the unbroken lead then comes in afterwards. It has a non-extendable eraser, or what I'll call a fixed eraser, with a cap on it. Here is a vintage Pentel pencil, perhaps from the 1980s. It's very old. It's Pentel, made in Japan, of course. P225. A lot of the writing is rubbed off. It's a very interesting early pencil. Well, maybe not early, but it's, you know what I mean. It's old. It's got a green eraser. You'll notice a lot of the older Pentel pencils have green erasers, whereas the newer ones have white erasers. Here's the Pentel Side Effects 0.5 millimeter. Got this one for free. I found it on the ground at the practice gym at my old school. Got lucky there. It's got an extendable eraser. 0.5. Here is, very special, this is the Pentel PD345, made in Japan, pencil. For years, this end piece here that screws on was missing. It had gone missing in the 2nd grade. I found a duplicate type of a different colored one where I had several now, and I put the tip from one of them on here. Now it's complete again. This is a vintage unit, probably from the 1990s, if not from the 1980s, and it was my dad's years ago, who passed away 4 years ago. He was a geology professor, and he really knew geology. Believe me, he did. And now here is another one. It's the Pentel PD, same model number actually, even though it's a little different. It's got a grip on it, and it expands outward like that. like that, 0.5 millimeter. More modern. Here's a Pentel Sharplet 2. This is a vintage unit. 0.5 millimeter. It is one of my only white mechanical pencils. I have a couple others that have some white on them, but this is the whitest of all my mechanical pencils. You don't oftentimes see white mechanical pencils, so it's very interesting to see. I believe they still make this model, and it's commonly available in black these days, from what I saw on the internet. This old one uses a green eraser, showing it's a vintage pencil. Here's the Pentel Forte, Pentel A55, and it's 0.5 millimeter. It's a pretty good pencil. And it has a fixed eraser, and this one is actually made in the USA, not in Japan. It questions me to believe if this and the Forte Pro and the IC, which are the same style and made in the USA, are even available in Japan, or if they're strictly for the North American market. I don't know. Here's a Pentel PS315. You might think at first glance it's a P207 or a P205, but no, it's PS315. And you'll notice when the lead comes out, it extends the sleeve and then the lead clicks out. And if you look at the P205 right here, it's different. I'll show you. Okay. Here's a high-end or higher-end pencil by Pentel. The Pentel PG1015. The Graph Gear 1000. Uses 0.5 millimeter lead. These are available in all four standard lead size from 0.3 to 0.9. I don't have any 0.3 pencils actually. I used to back in the 4th grade, but then I let someone borrow it and he never returned it. Ridiculous, yeah. But anyway, by the way, it was a Pentel P203. It looks like the P205, but it's brown. If anyone out there has one they have lying around that they don't want anymore, please give me a line, because I'd love to get one again. But anyway, this is the Graph Gear 1000, and it's a very nice pencil. Advance the lead, and then whenever you want to retract the tip, you push this, and it retracts back inside. Has a fixed eraser under the cap. I'm very sorry. This video has become the most unprofessional because of the blurry images. Okay, here's the Pentel IC, AL25. It also is made in the US and is very much like the Forte. It has a fixed eraser, 0.5 millimeter lead. The IC was available in black, red, and purple. I only have a black one currently. I have here's a twist erase, a blue version. I showed the other one earlier, so it's just a blue version of that. Here's another side effect pencil, except it's 0.7. It was given to me by a classmate as a gift. Here is another Sharplet 2, except this is a light blue colored, maybe with a hint of purple, maybe not, just light blue, I don't know. Yeah, it's a light blue pencil. Kind of a baby blue, maybe, somewhat. But it's 0.5. It is. I got this new old stock, you could say, because it was in the packaging. Got it from an estate sale. Opened up the package, and there it is. Here's a Pentel Forte Pro. It's purple in color and 0.5 millimeter. Has a cap on the eraser. I typically leave this one's cap off and have it stored in my pencil box because the cap slips off way too easily. It is the same as the IC, except colored differently. It has the grit, same style as the IC, and the tip although it looks like metal, is actually made of plastic and coated with a coating that looks like metal. The IC also has a plastic tip, whereas the regular Forte actually has a metal tip. Here is the Pentel, another PD345. It's a clear black color. I put one of these cap erasers on. It had an old green eraser on it, which was not only worn down, but it was all dried up with age. But being that it was a green eraser, you can know it's a vintage pencil. My dad also used to have one this color or something similar to it. It was a clear blue one. He might have also had one that was this same color too. He liked this pencil a lot. This style. This one here used to be a fellow YouTuber by the name of John Clark. This one here is complete. Here is another of the same model. Also, I put a cap eraser on it. This one, the metal tip that sticks out, was pushed inside because John Clark was in the 8th grade. He got angry and slammed the pencil down on his desk, pushing the tip thingy, that little rod into the pencil. I haven't been able to push the rod back out, but other than that, the pencil is just fine, functional, and you can write with it. Here is a Pentel, another version of the Twist Erase called the Click 0.5, model PD275. This one's clip is slightly stretched out. You can see right there. I didn't do that. A previous owner did. This pencil was found left, the grip is also messed up from abuse by the original owner. This pencil was left deserted in my physics classroom, so I picked it up, finders keepers, and now it's mine. Here's a very special one that used to be my dad's. It's a Pentel colored pencil. You can select a colored lead and click it out, and of course you have to use your finger to get it set just right, and you can use it to color things. And my dad used these pencils a lot for coloring in his professional work. Here is a messed up, this one used to be my dad's too. Someone else than my dad, though, I think, did this. I don't know, but someone did this to the clip. I didn't do it. I never used this one, but it's an old Fiesta, 0.7 millimeter. And then here are a bunch of other Pentel P205s, just duplicates. I've already shown the Pentel P205, so I don't need to show all those. Okay, here you can see, ignore these for now. Here you can see some of my no-name mechanical pencils. No name as in their brand name is completely a mystery because they don't have a brand name marked on them anywhere. Some of them have markings on them for advertising for certain companies, or I guess they're just from a certain company would have their name and address printed on a pencil, and the pencil would probably be given to employees or something, but the pencils don't have any official brand name. Here's an old one. This is a vintage one. I don't know when it was made. I would guess probably the early 90s. I would guess about 1992. I don't know. For some reason, it just seems like it's that, or maybe it's 1990, 91. I don't know. I'm guessing. You can see it's got some dust up in there. It was probably left in storage for years unused. I would imagine it might have been left in a little barrel where it's kind of stored like that. It has an eraser up there that's all dried up. I don't want to pull the cap off because I want to make sure I don't want to crack the plastic or anything because it's old. But it has no name brand. It uses 0.5 millimeter. It's a little bit of a cheaper pencil, but it's still pretty good. It's not like El Cheapo cheap. It's not like Bic cheap. But it actually is a pretty nice pencil. Interesting feel to the casing there. Its texture is kind of rubbery-ish. Here's another one. This is a vintage piece. This is a Japanese pencil. 0.5 millimeter, brand name unknown. It also has an old eraser under this cap. I would rather not pull it off. But it's just that pink colored type eraser. It says Wade Drains and Cleaners. Actually, no, carriers, not cleaners. Wade drains and carriers. 0.5 millimeter. This one's a little bit of a step up in the, I guess, the cheaper odd pencil department. Odd as in it's just no brand and all that. This one actually has shock absorption on the lead. You can push it in and it actually has a shock absorption, which is a common thing of some of the nicer pencils. Not all nicer, but some of the higher end pencils have that. And this one has it. It has a good stout click. It's a pretty nice pencil, actually. See the rubber grip? The plastic grip is that kind of wavy texture. And it's an interesting old pencil that you just turn that around like that. It's made in Japan, and the other marking it has on it is K11. Perhaps that's the model number or whatever that pencil is. Here is another no-name pencil. I have two like this. You'll see its distinctive clip. Maybe some of you out there have seen pencils like this before, maybe know a little bit more about them. I'm imagining these units are probably from the 90s, if not the 80s. Although I remember using a pencil of this style in the second grade in 1999 or 2000, depending on when it was in the second grade. Probably 1999. So at least they can be as old as the 90s. This one here is just got a company on it and the address. And so does this one here, a different color, but it's the same pencil. Got another company and the address. And this is not the original eraser. This one had no eraser. This one does have its original eraser, which is a black eraser or gray eraser. So no knowing on the name brand or even the country of origin for these ones. Nor do I know the country of origin for this unit. I only know that this one is from Japan, and this one here is from Taiwan. It has no name brand, and it probably went to a pen and pencil set. It's 0.5, has a weird click to it. If you can hear that, it sounds kind of funny. If you notice, this one clicks a lot of lead out at once. A little bit. I don't know how well you can notice that it does that, but this one is very easy to break the lead on, so I don't use it that much because it's kind of annoying because the lead breaks very easily on it. Let's move on to another set. Okay, here are my Parker pencils. Although most Parker pencils are made in the United States, these two pencils, which are identical, are made in the United Kingdom, believe it or not. This one has advertising, or at least, it has marking on it for the Sloan Valve Company. I'm sure many of you have seen, you go to the toilet and you see the flushers. A lot of times are made by Sloan, or those sensors. The automatic ones, a lot of times are made by Sloan. Well, somebody who worked at Sloan, they would give out pencils to them, pens and pencils, and this was one of them. And there'll be some other Sloans showing up as well, some older units by a different brand. But this is actually a Parker pencil. Now this is also a custom put-on piece. This piece here that says Sloan is slipped onto the clip. And I'm sorry about this. I can't control the focus well. Made in the UK, it says right there, and then it says Parker. You can't see that in the video, but down in, I don't know if you can see that, but it says made in UK. Parker. It's very hard to see it on the camera. Okay, but yeah. Here's the other Parker pencil right here. Also things for Sloan Valve Company on it. 0.5 millimeter for both of those units. Here's another 0.5 millimeter Parker. This was given to me by my friend Ryan Grisham back in some years ago. And it's made in the U.S. as most Parkers are, and are commonly known for being made in the U.S. 0.5 millimeter, a pretty nice pencil. And here's a nice vintage piece. Don't know when this one was made. Maybe it's from the 60s or the 70s, I'm guessing. Maybe 80s, I don't know. It's made in the U.S., Parker. And one of my pet peeves is when I'm making a video, it turns blurry. That's a pet peeve of mine. But this one, 0.9 millimeter, and it's the type where you turn it to make the lead come out. Interestingly enough, the lead length that can be put in is not that much. But it's a very nice old Parker pencil. The silver coloring there, the gray plastic there, and the silver in the tip. It looks very nice, and you'll also notice it's a rather short pencil if you compare these lengths. It's a short pencil. I know, I'm sorry. I'm very sorry about the blurry image. This one's longer, you can see. It's another Parker. I'm imagining it's a gold-plated pencil. This is a vintage one. I don't know, maybe it could be from the 40s or the 50s. That might be stretching too far for the age. I don't know, maybe it's not that old, but it's also 0.9 in the type where you twist out the lead. They write very nicely. They're fun to use. Here are my singles, as I call them. Units where I only have one pencil from a particular brand. First up is this very vintage one here, made by Chrysler, not the car company. The Chrysler for this one is spelled K-R-E-I-S-L-E-R. It's made in the U.S. and it's called the KT Crown 2 with 18 karat gold, I think. Gold plated. Probably not made of gold, probably just plated with gold. It's a very nice old pencil. It uses 0.9 millimeter lead, and it's the type where you twist to get the lead out. Here is a 4A. It's a cheaper pencil. It's 0.7 millimeter. I found this one at the ground at my old school. High school and junior high, all that kind of stuff. But it's alright. Don't use it that much. It's just kind of a cheaper. It's made in China as well. Somewhere it says it. I remember somewhere it said it. I can't really find it, but I'm sure it's made in China. Here's a high-end pencil. It's the Alvin Draft-Matic DM05 0.5 millimeter pencil. These can also come in 0.7 and probably all the other two standard lead sizes too. It's a very well made pencil. Paid $12 for this puppy. I used to have one like this in the 3rd grade, give it to me as a Christmas present. It was a 0.7 millimeter version. I didn't have it for very long because I traded it away or something like that. Plus, I was more up to 0.5 than 0.7, so that's probably one of the reasons why I didn't have it for very long. And that's why also later, whenever I bought one last year, I bought the 0.5 version, not the 0.7. It's a very nice pencil, made in Japan. Here's one by the Digit Company. Never heard of it. This one was given to me by my friend Ryan Yan, and he found it deserted in a classroom at his college, and then he gave it to me later. You can see the cap is missing, and the clip is broken off. It was found in this condition originally when Ryan found it. It's 0.5 millimeter lead. It also boasts shock absorption. A little bit of shock absorption. And writes very well. I like it a lot. Made in Japan. Here is the Unicuru Toga 0.5mm lead. This pencil is supposed to turn the lead around whenever you write to keep a sharp tip on the lead. Although, from what I can tell, it seems like the mechanism that turns the lead around while you write doesn't seem to be working in mine. But nonetheless, it still is a pretty nice pencil. The complaint I have, though, is it kind of clicks the lead out too far per click. I think they did that so that you would click one time and you have enough lead. But I usually click more times and then the lead's kind of long. So, yeah. This particular one is made in China. Although typically they would probably be made in Japan. Here is this Unicuru Toga is a new one I got in August this year. Here's a Teledyne Post made in Italy, 38MG-010, made in Italy. It is a lead holder, as you can see. Interesting thing to note. Although I do have extra lead holder leads, they're all like the 2H hardness, which writes very light. I wanted to write darker, so I got a wooden pencil, pulled some of the wooden pencil apart, got a piece of lead out of the wooden pencil, and put it in the lead holder. And lo and behold, the size lead, which I think is 2mm, for the lead holder is the same size used in a wooden pencil. So if you have a lead holder but you can't afford to get the ridiculously expensive lead holder leads, just get an old wooden pencil and take the lead out of it, and it will fit your lead holder. I also got a sharpener here. You stick the pencil into the lead holder and you twirl the thing around. The lead holder into the sharpener, you twirl the thing around, it will sharpen the lead. It's pretty cool. Last but not least, on our singles list, we have the Right Point pencil, my only unit by the Right Point company. Also was for a company, advertising for the company, probably given to an employee of this particular company, Murphy Concentrates. Murphy Products Company Incorporated, Burlington, Wisconsin, /Sioux City, Iowa. It's the type where you twist the lead out. And you might guess and think, okay, it uses .9 lead like the other ones where you twist it out. No. This one uses a rather obscure, yet standard lead size. Probably not commonly used for modern pencils. The size lead this unit uses is 1.1 millimeter. Yes, I'm not joking, 1.1 millimeter. Interesting. Here are my Staedtler pencils. This unit's grip is not the original grip. The original grip would expand some and tend to slide off the pencil, which I found annoying. So I got this other grip, nice, comfortable feeling, foam or some kind of material, orange grip, and put it on. It actually looks pretty cool. This is a Staedtler 9505. Was owned by my dad for a period of time. This unit is made in Japan and has a well-used extendable eraser almost to the end, as you can see. 0.5 millimeter lead, indeed. And a pretty nice unit. I don't have any German-made Staedtler mechanical pencils, unfortunately. All my Staedtlers are made in either Japan, except for this one that's made in Thailand. Yeah, it's made in Thailand. This is the Staedtler 925-05. I believe the 05 is to designate that it's the 0.5 millimeter version. The top there, it says 0.5. And you can slide this ring around here to say HB or whatever lead size you have inside your pencil. It's a pretty nice pencil. These are identical units except with slightly different colors. It is the Remedy by Staedtler. This one is well used, and where it says Remedy is mostly rubbed off, and part of where it says Staedtler is rubbed off. It has an extendable eraser. And uses 0.5mm lead. Very nice. Here's the other one you can see. It says Remedy fully. It is the 9712 by Staedtler, made in Japan. Here are the pencils I have made by, or the mechanical pencils I have made by Beryl, spelled B-E-R-O-L. I only have 3 models, although duplicates of each one. These 2 identical units are the Beryl Mirado pencil, made in Mexico. I actually bought these units in Mexico. They feel kind of cheap, and they're probably the cheaper of the line of Beryl pencils, but they are still pretty nice. They have a nice click sound to them, and they write well. The eraser is your very standard pink eraser. I don't know if they even sell these in the United States. They probably don't. I've only seen these, the first time I've ever seen this model pencil like this was in Mexico when I went to a little office supply store and scored with mechanical pencils. Okay, here is a vintage one from the 1980s, a Beryl Automatic TD5, 0.5mm, and made in Japan. It is a drafting pencil, very nice pencil. Got shock absorption, and got that kind of metallic, metal grip, with that rough feel. It's very neat. I got 3 of them. One of them is missing the cap. It was found that way when I got them at an estate sale. Also, these were all got at the same estate sale I got these at. And the Beryl Automatic TL5, 0.5mm, made in Japan. They all have erasers under the caps. This one also has shock absorption, and is also probably from the 80s or the 90s, I would imagine. Don't know if they still make that one anymore. Moving on. These are my Papermate pencils. Here amongst the Papermate pencils you can see some examples of the classic Papermate Sharpwriter mechanical pencil. These ones here, or this one here, was bought in 2009. The Papermate Sharpwriter is made in USA, believe it or not, the United States of America. And they are the type where you twist the lead out. I'm doing it the wrong way, I think. Maybe I was doing it, I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, I think I'm doing it the wrong way. Here we go. I don't even know if you can see that well in the video. Again, I apologize for my very pet peeve showing up with these blurry images. But these pencils are said to be non-refillable. It even says it on the package. Non-refillable. They only have 1 lead in them. They're supposed to be disposable. You use them, you run out of lead, and you just toss it in the trash can. But I don't like the idea of just tossing a mechanical pencil in the trash can. As it turns out, these pencils actually are refillable. They're not as easily refillable as a typical pencil. There are some tricks of the trade you need to know to refill these pencils. So if you don't know how to refill these pencils, I recommend you watch my video on refilling a Papermate Sharpwriter mechanical pencil, where I go into how to refill a Papermate Sharpwriter and get a Papermate Sharpwriter that would have otherwise been thrown away back into tip-top condition. Here's another example. This is an earlier one. can see its style of labeling looks different. If you compare the two, you can see it looks considerably different. Here's one that in the 12th grade in physics class, wrapped up with duct tape, the shiny type of duct tape. The clip was broken off too. And here's one, a blue Papermate Sharpwriter. You can see it has the earlier style of marking. This is probably from the early 2000s, or maybe even the late 90s. And I actually had to refill this one, I think. Yeah, I had to refill this one, and now it's got lead in it. It would have normally been thrown out. Here is the Papermate. It's called the Wright Brothers. This one doesn't say Wright Brothers on it, but it's called the Wright Brothers. This one is made in India. My only Indian pencil. 0.7 millimeter. These pencils are actually very cheap. Very cheap. They're cheaper than a Bic. These pencils are used to always, like at my old school, I would see these on the floor and they'd be cracked and broken. I'd always see these with cracks or broken in half. The plastic on these units is very brittle and it's just very cheap. So I do not recommend that model. Here's a Papermate Dynagrip 0.5 millimeter. This actually, although it's a little bit of a cheaper pencil, is actually not a bad pencil. It has a fixed eraser, but it writes very nicely, and 0.5, and it's actually a nice pencil. Got a nice rubber grip on it. I used to have one of these like in the 4th grade, I think. These ones here, though, I bought at Dollar Tree in a set. And they're nice. They're made in Korea. Here's some other color of the same pencil. And here is the more new version of the Papermate PhD, or the Sanford PhD, as it originally would have been. This unit is fairly nice, except my unit, the lead goes in easily like a lot of Bics. So I don't use this very often because the lead goes in easily. I find that extremely annoying. You would have think they would have done better on this pencil, but then the lead goes in easily? That's ridiculous. Here's an old unit, probably from the 1990s. It's the Papermate Top Notch, 0.7 millimeter lead. This eraser is not original. I stole it off a wooden pencil and put it on because the eraser that was in here was completely flat when I got it. Got this one from an estate sale, 0.7 millimeter. I don't think they make this model anymore, but I remember I used to have one like this in the 2nd grade. Bought new, probably. And that was in 1999. And so I'm pretty sure this pencil is from the 1990s. Plus, the estate sale where I got this unit from, I actually got I got several other Bic pencils, including this very early one that I showed earlier. Okay, here is the Papermate Comfortmate Ultra, 0.7 millimeter. A little bit cheap, but a little bit step up from the others. It writes quite well. It has a nice feel when writing. I had to put this eraser on because the original that was on there was flat when I got it. This one is made in China, and it was found on the ground, on the brick ground at the university where I go to. So it's a freebie. This is the Papermate more modern logo pencil. Has a nice rubber grip. It used to have a little black piece right here that got missing. This was my dad's. And it's a pretty nice pencil, which also boasts shock absorption. Now, Papermate and Sanford have really close ties. Actually, they're the same company. So let me now go on to my Sanford pencils. They no longer make pencils now that are actually called Sanford. Although if you look on a package for a Papermate pencil, for instance, the Papermate Sharpwriter, this is the ones I bought in 2009, it's actually Sanford. The actual company is Sanford, but now they call them all Papermate, and they don't make any ones that are originally called Sanford anymore. There used to be a time whenever you could find both Papermate pencils and Sanford pencils, but now it's all Papermate. I think this is blurry, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, I would hope that that's not, but I'm afraid it is. Anyway, these are some Sanford units. This is one from the 1990s, literally from whenever I was in the second grade, which was preserved through Evan holding them. As I told earlier about the Pentec pencils, this is the Sanford Clickster 0.5 millimeter. This one was probably bought in 1999. I first encountered this model in 1998, whenever my mom bought a set when I was in the first grade, which also that was the year I discovered mechanical pencils and larger than ever since. Also the year I got interested in electronics, and also the year I first made recordings on tape. How about that? Anyway, this also is another version of the Clickster grip. The end piece here says 0.5 millimeter, but the pencil unit here is 0.7. That's because they were a 0.5 and a 0.7 version of different colors. My friend Evan had this pencil, and he would take the, you can see this part can come off, so he would take the piece off and switch pieces around, kind of customize the pencil, so that's actually a 0.7 pencil now. Also, this unit is from 1999. Here's a Sanford PhD. This is the maroon barrel color. I used to have a black barrel color one back in 4th grade, but it's long gone. I got this one at an estate sale. They don't make this version anymore, but it's my favorite version, obviously, the PhD. It's a Sanford 0.5 millimeter. Got an extendable eraser and the lead, and it has shock absorption. The only thing I don't like about these PhDs is that you would get them, and after using them for a while, the grip would expand and would become loosely fitted around there. And I would notice it wouldn't happen. It would be not long after I would get the pencil and I would be using it, it was like this. This one that I got at the estate sale, the grip was already in that condition whenever I got it. Here is the Sanford logo 0.5. The writing is almost completely rubbed off, but it said like Sanford logo 0.5 millimeter Japan, or maybe it just said logo 0.5. It probably said Sanford. I know it's a Sanford. It got that Sanford shape at the end there, at the tip. Extendable eraser, and this pencil was my dad's. This was actually, I think it was my dad's favorite model of mechanical pencil was this Sanford logo 0.5, and he liked getting the maroon colored. They also came in light green, from what I remember. But it's a nice pencil, and it's very special because it was my dad's, and he liked it a lot. Obviously, they don't make this version anymore. There's also another discontinued model. It's the Sanford Sidetrack. Made in Japan, 0.5 millimeter. Has extendable eraser. Push on the side. This one does not have shock absorption, but it is a very nice pencil nonetheless. This is the red colored version. I used to have a blue colored version back in the 5th grade, but it got long gone at some point. It got either lost or traded away. Somehow it got gone. Or borrowed away, more likely. So I bought a set of these on eBay recently. 6 was a minimum order amount, so I got 6 of them. But it was only $1 per pencil, so it wasn't bad. And it's a very neat pencil. This video's long. I'm afraid that earlier shot did show them blurry, so I'm just going to try to show just a close-up of them all right here, which should be a lot more clear. I'm sorry, it's just a huge pet peeve, and then it has to come to haunt me, the blurriness. Okay, here are the Pilot pencils in my collection. Used to have a Pilot Renegade back in the 8th grade. It got borrowed away, but anyway. Here's a Sharpie. This isn't the Pilot. This was actually supposed to go to the singles, but I forgot to put it in the singles. It's called the liquid pencil. It uses a liquid form of the graphite. It's very weird, and it is very easy to rub off. Even with your finger, you can rub off writing with it, so it's not really a good pencil. It's more of a novelty item. Okay, here's a Pilots. You've seen the pens that look like this. This looks exactly like the pen. There's a pen called the Pilot G2, even says it says 07, signifying 0.7 millimeter. But this is the pencil version of the pen. 0.7 millimeter indeed. Very interesting. Here is the Pilot Dr. Grip. This is the original version. My favorite version of it, by the way. There's also other versions, which I heard also included a shaker. I used to have other versions back in the 6th grade, but they're long gone. But this is the Pilot Dr. Grip, 0.5 millimeter, has the larger of the grips. And I think it's a great pencil. Lead breaks kind of easily, but I think that's just because it's a wide pencil. So you got more torque while you're writing. It's easier to push harder on the lead without realizing it when you're holding it at an angle. But it's a pretty nice pencil, made in Japan. And we move on now to the Zebra pencils. These are the 2 Zebra units in my collection. This is the Zebra M402, made in Japan. Nice metal case. Got a nice rubber grip, 0.5 millimeter. Used to have one like this in the 4th grade. Glad to have found one last year. And here is a Zebra M301. I don't even know how clear it is. I'm sure it's got its blurriness. M301 by Zebra, 0.5 millimeter. Pretty nice. Made in Japan. These Zebras are both pretty cool, classy looking pencils. I like this style. Here are my Schaffer pencils. Schaffer, for those who don't know, is spelled S-H-E-A-F-F-E-R. These Schaffer pencils are made in the United States. These are vintage pencils. This one has advertising for the Jones Blair Paint Company. Keeps America beautiful. It's a 0.9 millimeter pencil. And it's a type where you turn it to make the lead come out. Perhaps they're from the 1970s, I'm guessing. This one here is also by Schaffer. And, also turn to make the lead come out. Pretty nice old pencils. Moving on to the next batch, we got the cross pencils here. And we got a couple of Scriptos right here. Here's the newest of my crosses. It's, I imagine, modern. Or pretty modern. It's probably from the, I'm guessing, early to mid 2000s. Maybe it's possible that it's from the late 90s. I'm not sure. But it says cross right there. Country of origin is unknown on this unit. Cross pencils are usually made in the United States, but this one, for all I know, could be made in China. I don't know. But it uses 0.9 millimeter lead, has an interesting grip. I call this my futuristic looking pencil. It looks futuristic. But anyway, 0.9 millimeter lead, you turn it out. It's pretty nice. Only thing I don't like about it is how the lead kind of moves up and down in there. But that's not really a big issue. It writes very nicely. Has a very nice feel while writing. Here is, though, my favorite cross pencil. Or more close to my favorite. I like the way this one feels on writing, maybe a little bit better, but this one still, it feels pretty nice, and it's very cool. If you saw my Mechanical Pencils 3, I showed this pencil and I said it had no name brand and that didn't know what it was. But I looked closely enough and I could see it was made by Cross. And not only that, it's sterling silver. And not only that, even though most Cross pencils are made in the United States,
This one is made in Ireland, which is very odd. My only Irish pencil, probably pretty rare for it to be an Irish-made cross. Very nice, vintage pencil, 0.9, even lubricates the lead as it comes out, like it's got oil in there. Probably just oil to lubricate the twisting mechanism, but some of it gets onto the lead. Very interesting. Here's another similar cross pencil, made in the USA. Metal case, coated with its black look. And it... Look at that! Look how blurry! Okay, there it goes. It's clear now. 0.9 millimeter. And indeed, you twist it, the lead comes out. Very nice. Here are my Scriptos. These are very old. Maybe they're from the 50s, I would imagine. Or maybe the 60s. This one said J.A. Ridge Tractor Company Caterpillar. It's a short pencil. Very short little pencil. Got some paint right there. Got this at an estate sale. Made by Scripto in Atlanta, Georgia. This uses 1.1 millimeter lead. Here's another Scripto, very old unit from an estate sale. Also 1.1 millimeter lead. You also twist the top to make the lead come out at the bottom. Here are my Auto Point blurry pencils. All but one of these pencils have advertising for the Sloan Valve Company, and they were probably owned by an employee of the Sloan Valve Company, and the company would probably give the pencils out. The actual pencils are made by Auto Point. Believe it or not, you can still buy these style pencils from Auto Point new. I found it on the internet. There's actually the website, autopoint.com, I think. And you can get these kind of pencils new in a variety of colors, and even in the 0.9 or 1.1 millimeter lead sizes. It's amazing. But these are actually vintage units. These are all 0.9 millimeter. Sloan, the world's most popular flush valve. C.A. Reiner Company Incorporated, North Little Rock, Arkansas, blah, blah, blah. At the top they have a Sloan valve picture. And Auto Point. These units even have vintage leads in them. It's very nice. Here's a thicker version of it. Also 0.9 millimeter. A nice black eraser. The other one that had a white eraser, that white eraser wasn't original. It came off a Pentel pencil. Here's another one with a black eraser. Same thickness as the first one I showed. Here's one that says Skillcraft. Skillcraft, U.S. government. You'd think it's another company, but you can tell by the end pieces here, it's actually an Auto Point. It's just got two pencils on each side. You would put red lead in the red side. I don't have any red lead, so I just put black lead in it, but it's 0.9 millimeter. Last but not least, we have the Centennial pencils. Both have markings on it that are custom. These units are vintage and are 0.5 millimeter. This one, yes, they're both made in the USA. It says Centennial down the clip, and it has a C down there. This one has a sort of star, the Drive for Excellence. Again, the image is relatively blurry, as can be trusted in this video. And this one here is a shiny gold looking one. It says Robert J. Wimberly on the side there. Kind of in an annoyed mood right now because the consistency of the blurry images on my video is bothering me. But anyway, I've shown all these pencils now. I'm going to describe each one. It took a long time. You can just see all the pencils laid out there. Quite amazing. Quite amazing. But now, before I end the video, I'm going to show writing with a few of the pencils, so you get a feel for what are some of them like when writing. Okay, here are the right testing grounds. The first pencil I'm going to show writing with is the old Bic pencil. Contains 3 leads. 1. You can listen carefully to the sound of the writing. Testing with this book. Soup burped. Let's try out another old Bic. This one right here. Obviously, the phenomenon you're experiencing is my hand covering up the writing as I write. Very, very annoying. Now I'm going to try this one from John Clark, where he pushed the tip in out of anger in the 8th grade. Still writes well. We'll test out a classic P205. I broke the lead. Also, another phenomenon I enjoy is sometimes some leads are squeaky. I like squeaky lead. Oops, I did that way too much. as a liquid pencil. Before I go, I'm going to test out some of the erasure. First, this erasure. Okay. Second, this eraser. Okay. Third, this eraser. And fourth, this eraser. Except, lo and behold, we're going to be doing some bonus eraser tests. By the way, I use this pencil to mark because we have an old pink pearl. all kind of dried up some. And then we have this little love eraser made by Pentel. Came with a pack of leads. And it does a good job. Well, hope you enjoyed this video. It was incredibly long. Took an incredible amount of time to do. I don't even know if anyone's going to watch the entire thing. It's ridiculous. Maybe I had too much coffee. But now I gotta put all the pencils back into the cases. But anyway, and I have to leave to go to school in about half an hour. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. Shot Wednesday, the 7th of November, 2012. I started shooting it, was it 8:14 or something in the morning? And now it's 10:30 and I gotta leave in 30 minutes to go to school. Anyway, oh wow, look at this! I'm so retarded. This pencil fell down and it was kind of stepped off of my foot. I'm so stupid. This one, the Star Wars lead changer. Who knows how that even happened? But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this long video. Before I fully end it, I'm going to show time.